Hello YouTube! Today in the Naughty Librarian I am bringing you a romance book haul. And today y'all are in for a treat because it's gonna be a smutty book haul. I've collected so many smutty delights through multiple sources as usual. Some I pre-ordered and they came in, some I got from the publisher, some I got from library book sales where I got them all for very, very, very cheap. But without further ado, let's just get into all my smutty delights I've collected recently. First things first, I'm gonna start out with books from the publisher, and I have two of them. First up, I have Calamity by Constance Fay. This is actually the first release from Tor's new imprint called Bramble. It's like their official romance imprint, so I'm pretty excited about this one. It's obviously sci-fi, and it's kind of like an enemies to lovers kind of deal. Like the blurb mentions, it's good for fans of like Firefly and Ilona Andrews, and I like both of those, so I am really, really looking forward to this. And I don't really want to get like too far into it here, but it is enemies to lovers. We have Temperance. She's trying to, hold her crew together. Then you have Arcadia, who shows up, who might have ulterior motives. They get assigned to the same mission, and, sparks fly, and also romance. Enemies to lovers delights here. I am very excited for it. So thank you so much, Tor, now Bramble, for sending me a copy. I think this is their debut from the new imprint, so yay, very excited. Sent to me by Karina Adores, which is an imprint of Harlequin, I have Dragged to the Wedding by Andrew Gray. This is a drag themed gay romance and I'm very into it. So you have James. He's living his best gay life away from his family, and his family don't know he's gay, and the problem is he needs a date to his sister's wedding in Montana, which, it's a fairly conservative area. So he needs a date. Stat. Enter Daniel, aka Lala Traviata, Chicago's premier drag queen. Daniel agrees to be James's date for the wedding, incognito in drag, and, drama ensues from there, and also romance. I'm very into this. I love Drag Race. I know way too much about Drag Race. I've seen all of them, including the international seasons. Y'all know this already about me, but I heard this is an LGBTQ romance plus drag, and I was like, yes, send me that please. And it's coming out very soon. I'm not sure when. Oh, this is a finished copy, so I think it's coming out really, really soon, if not out already. I'll put the date on the screen, but yes, very excited for this one. Next category is a bunch of stuff I pre-ordered, and I have like 5 of them. Oh my goodness gracious, I have Knockout by Sarah Mle. I can't believe I haven't already read this yet, but I've been dying for it. This is the latest book in the Hell's Bells series, which I adore. And this time our heroine is Imogen. She is an explosives expert. Well, I'm using the term expert loosely. A lot of things explode on her, and explosives, they're supposed to, but not always at the time that she expected them to. So she's a bit of a whirlwind of a character. Her love interest is Thomas Peck, who's a police detective and just overall very exasperated by all of her antics. So it's kind of like Grump Sunshine, chaos and order kind of deal here. And tell me no more. Just tell me it's in the Hell's Bells series, and of course I'm going to want to buy it. So here, take my money, please. I pre-ordered the shit out of this. It's finally here. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I don't know. I don't know why I haven't read it yet, mainly because I don't have a lot of time to read in general, but I'm going to read it soon. Another pre-order that finally came in, I have An Earl to Remember by Stacey Reid. Oh man, I love Stacey Reid books. They're so fun. They have humor and spice and stuff. I wouldn't say they're exactly the same as like a Tessa Dare, but I feel like they're in the same family as Tessa Dare books. And this one in particular is kind of an amnesia story, which I'm about, because it's kind of problematic when you think about it too hard. This one is Georgiana and Daniel. So Daniel, he's the Earl, and he's kind of an a-hole. Georgiana, she's not really so much pardonability. She's like a gentleman's daughter, so she has some standing, but barely. And she ends up catering his yacht party. and things go awry and she ends up getting fired. I guess Daniel ends up falling off the boat and getting amnesia, and she's like, I'm his wife. So she takes him in, and then she's like, this is an opportunity. And she's like, he's gonna work off what he owes me for the yacht party because he didn't pay me. And then after that, there is no plan that I know of here. She got this far and hasn't like thought about the consequences about when he gets his memory back. But it's gonna be kind of a rom-com, kind of problematic with, you know, the whole like gaslighting and memory loss type thing going on here. But here we are. It's Stacy Reid. I love Stacy Reid books. I'm going to read this one. Speaking of books on the Tessa Dare wavelength here, I have My Rogue to Ruin by Erica Ridley. If you haven't read the Wild Winchester series by Erica Ridley, you need to go do it. It's so fun. It's like misfit siblings solving crimes and sticking it to the man. Great series. So our heroine in this one is Marjorie Winchester. And she is really good at art and doing forgeries and everything, which helps them in their crime fighting, solving group. And there has been this forgery ring going around, which involves Adrian. He didn't really mean to get this deep into a forgery ring, but now he's stuck in it. And like, I guess she's trying to put him behind bars, and then like also romance somehow happens here. I mean, all the books are kind of very chaotic, but like in a fun way. Usually there's animals. Like, that sounds so vague, but like usually cute animals doing weird stuff, as well as all the siblings being, you know, chaos people. It's a fun series. They're solving crimes. They're misfit family, so definitely worth a read. I love this series. Moving on to a contemporary here, I have A Shot in the Dark by Victoria Lee. This is a contemporary queer romance, and Victoria Lee has mainly done like sci-fi fantasy before, so I am interested to see how Victoria Lee does not only, you know, contemporary real life stuff, but also a romance. I mean, her other books have romance in them, but they're not romances. This one is a romance, first and foremost. So this is Ellie and Wyatt. Ellie, basically, she goes to a bar one night, hooks up with this very hot trans man, and goes their separate ways. Shows up at her new photography like school academy thing the next day, and wouldn't you know, hot guy she slept with night before, Professor Wyatt. You know, and then comedy of errors ensues. And I believe there is going to be more dramatic elements into this, because I do believe both of them are also recovering addicts, so that also is going to play a part in their romance. But I am excited because I love Victoria Lee. I think Victoria Lee might be one of those authors that's a bit of an acquired taste, but if you acquire the taste, you really, really enjoy their writing. So I am excited to see what they do with a contemporary adult romance. Let's go. I also have Tastes Like Shakar by Nisha Sharma. This is the sequel to Dating Dr. Dill. And this time we're following Bobby and Bunty. So Bobby is like maid of honor. She's trying to cater the wedding as well and make sure everything goes well for her best friend. And then you have Bunty, who's the best man. And he's also in charge of creating the menu for the wedding because he's a chef. And then these two, Bobby and Bunty, oh boy, do they butt heads a whole lot. So there's going to be an enemies to lovers romance. Also, on top of them butting heads over everything, someone's trying to sabotage the wedding and they need to stop them. So they're going to have to team up. And then, you know, with sexy results. I really, really enjoyed Dating Dr. Dill, so I am excited to go back into this world and play with more characters from the series. We did meet both these characters in the first book, so very excited for this one. Also, there's going to be so much Indian food in this, and it makes you hungry. So just be aware, you're going to want Indian food when you're reading this, so make sure you know where your nearest Indian food restaurant is, because you're going to want it. Okay, this giant stack of mass markets I bought at a library book sale, and at the library book sale it was 4 for $1. So I bought a whole bunch. I bought 11 books, so I just donated the extra quarter. $3 for all of these books. It's a lot of books, so I'm thinking I'm gonna like speed round this, so let's go. First up, I have Unclaimed by Courtney Milan, an OG romance novel author. And this one it's kind of like Pretty Woman, honestly. So you have Jessica. She's a courtesan, but she gets paid by Mark, her love interest's enemies, to like seduce him and ruin his good name because he's like the perfect guy and he has this perfect reputation. They want to soil it. So she is desperate to get out of, the lifestyle she's living, so she takes the money. Problem is, they fall in love for real. So it's kind of Pretty Woman-esque, but it's Courtney Milan. That's the main reason I got it, just because Courtney Milan is an OG and very good. So boom. Another book by Sarah Mle on this list, I have The Rogue Not Taken, and this is book 1 of this little series here. And this one in particular is about Sophie and King. So Sophie, she gets herself into a scandal. She needs to flee London. So she like hops in the carriage. She's like, I'm stowing away. And said carriage belongs to King. He is the Marquess of Eversley and a terrible rogue. And he thinks she's trying to trick him into marriage. And she's like, oh, no. I would not touch you with their vagina over there. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. And then, enemies to lovers, close quarters ensues on this like road trip they have together. So very excited for this one. And I got not 1 but 2 books by Eloisa James, and they obviously are part of the same series because this one is Say No to the Duke and this one is Say Yes to the Duke. So dukes. Yes and no. I don't know. They're 2 different like sides of the same coin here. So this one is Betsy and Jeremy. Betsy wants one last great adventure before she has to marry this Duke guy. And she's like, okay, I'll dress up as a boy and stuff. And then she meets Jeremy and Jeremy's like, okay, I'll play you for it. If you win this game of pool, I'll provide the breeches. And if you lose, you have to spend the night with me. And then like he realizes, uh-oh, I like her a lot. How do I get her to say no to a Duke and marry me instead? As for saying yes to the Duke here, this one is Viola, and she is the shyest person who's ever lived. She's very shy, and she meets this quiet vicar and she's like, oh, he's boring and doesn't like society. He's perfect. I'll marry him. However, there's this Duke named Devin and he's like, no. I really like you. How do I convince you to say yes to me and no to the vicar? I will do some dastardly things. So one has to say no to a Duke. The other one has to say yes to the Duke. I don't know if it's the same Duke or not, but we'll find out. And again, I got not 1 but 2 books, both by Lisa Kleypas, and I have It Happened One Autumn and Where Dreams Begin. I had parted ways with Lisa Kleypas in the past because like most of her dudes are garbage humans. However, I want to try to give her a second chance here. Although I already have. I've given her a second and a third chance already, but I can't quit her for some reason, so I grabbed 2 more books. I don't know what I'm doing with my life here. So this one is kind of an enemies to lovers or opposites attract kind of romance here. So you have Lillian, she's American, she's kind of bold and lively, and then you have Marcus, who seems like he is just a stick in the mud, and then somehow they like each other. And then for Where Dreams Begin, you have Zachary and Holly, and Zachary, he's a rake, obviously, and he needs to marry to like secure a place in society, and also he wants a hot lady in his bed. And then he meets Holly, and then there's passions here, but like I think he doesn't offer her marriage. He offers her probably an affair, and she's like, maybe I'm gonna take him up on this affair offer because I want to have an adventure. La 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 la. Lisa Kleypas. I'm very worried about these, and I'm not sure why I bought them. I wanted to give her another chance, even though I know I'm probably not gonna like them. I also picked up Scandal Takes the Stage by Eva Lee. This is part of the Wicked Quills of London. I really like Eva Lee. She's very sex positive in her books, so they're kind of really fun to read. If you haven't read anything by Eva Lee, try picking some of her stuff up. This one is Maggie and Cam. Maggie is a very successful playwright. Cam, big fan / also flirting with her, wants to like do things, and she's like, nope, I've been burned before, I'm not dealing with you, but now I have writer's block. And Cam's like, oh, take my country estate. And she's like, ugh, fine, it'll give me time to write. And then, you know, aggressive flirting happens. Like, how are we gonna get together? I don't know. But it's interesting because there's a lady writer in this one. So definitely kind of an interesting idea to work around. And I just like evil-y stuff. So I think it's gonna be fun. I also got a copy of The Princess Plan by Julia London. And this one in particular, it's kind of like a murder mystery. So this one is Prince Sebastian and Eliza. So Eliza, she has a gossip column and she gets tipped off that the prince's personal secretary has been found murdered, and I guess she gets a tip and a clue and she prints the story, and now the prince is like, I am interested in this Eliza lady and also solving this murder. How do we team up? And then, you know, romance ensues. I also picked up A Secret Affair by Mary Ballow, and I have just heard about this author several times from other romance booktubers, and I haven't read anything by Mary Ballow, so like I picked it up because I saw a copy. And this one is Hannah Reid. She's a duchess, and she is a widow now. And then she's like, I'm gonna take a lover because I finally have my freedom. And she picks Constantine Huxtable, and he is a rake and a half. And he's like, I do love recently widowed ladies. Like, this is a perfect thing for an affair. But then, they fall in love for real. Very excited. I also picked up A Touch of Minx by Suzanne Enoch. And I don't know if this is the first book of this series, but it doesn't seem like it. And also, I think I don't know how romancy it is. This one might be a misnomer because I know Suzanne Enoch writes romance, and I'm assuming this has romance in it. But basically, there's woman Samantha, right? She was a former thief, and now she's working as a private security specialist, and she has a billionaire boyfriend. And then she gets hired by the Met, who needs her to like track down a priceless artifact, and she like jumps at the chance to do it because she's worried her boyfriend's trying to propose and she's not ready. And then also like dangerous enemies from her past show up. So this is more of like, you know, a thief crime thriller book, but also maybe a little romancy. It's like, this is like post happily ever after, like what happens after. I think there's probably a book before this in the series that I don't have. Now last up, I got a copy of The Vampire Who Loved Me by Teresa Mierdos, and also autographed by the author. That's a kind of a cool find here. And honestly, what made me pick this one is like the first little blurb here, and it said Jane Austen meets Dracula, and I was like, tell me no more. I want this already. So there's this vampire, Julian, right? He gets saved by this young girl named Portia. She's like 17, and he's like, hey, you are way too young. I'm gonna go off and like look for my humanity, my soul, my mortality, etc. I'll be back. So 5 years goes by. Portia's now an adult, and he comes back and he's like, sup, Portia? And she's like, oh my gosh, Julian. And they're both like super attracted to each other, except the problem is Julian didn't really find his like mortality and his soul. He just kind of became a drunk party boy. And then like now there's murders in town, and she's like, oh my gosh, do I want to bang a murderer? It has a lot going on in it, so I am excited to read it. I think my description of it is probably a little bit better than the blurb suggests, but that's basically the gist here. All right, so that was just a bunch of smutty delights I have picked up recently. I really cleaned up at a library book sale, and also pre-orders and things from the publishers have come in. So yeah, it's a whole bunch of books. Let me know in the comments down below, what are some of your anticipated romances for the rest of the year? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos and a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.